Yes. Jim, the library's open tonight.
Library's open. Yes, but the library's open.
I might just put it on.
All set? Yeah, okay. All right, would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. This is to state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of the regular meetings for the year 2014 in the Borough Hall, and by providing such notice to the newspapers, the Glenridge paper, the Montclair Voice, and the Star Ledger. This notice was provided to the newspapers on January 1, 2014. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick? Here. Rusovich? Here. Lefkowitz? Here. Dawson? Here. Theodora? Here. Morrow?
Here.
Mayor Hughes is present. Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Okay, now this is our adjourned meeting. This is actually our last meeting for the year 2014. We have to get through a few things, then we're going to finish this meeting, and then we're going to reconvene with our new council, and then we're going to start the first meeting of 2015. Okay, so could I get a motion, please, to approve our minutes from our last meeting, which is December 22nd, 2014? Thank you. Stuart, can I get a second? Paul, thank you. Council, any comments, changes? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick? Aye. Rusovich? Aye. Lefkowitz? Aye. Dawson? Aye. Theodora? Aye. Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion is carried.
Thank you, Mike. Councilman Patrick?
Yes, Mayor, I have resolution number 163-14, which is a proclamation of appreciation to Dr. Sujana S. Shen Sekar for her service on the Board of Health. I move the resolution.
You've heard the resolution. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Stuart, do you want to read the resolution?
I can.
Please.
Okay. Presented to Sujana S. Shen Sekar. The Mayor and Council of the Borough of Glenridge desire to convey to you an expression of its commendation and grateful acknowledgement for the valued services rendered by you in the public interest as a member of the Board of Health. The Mayor and Council sincerely appreciate the worthwhile contribution that you've made to the welfare and development of this fine community.
Do you have that?
Councilman Dawson, I think you're going to
Yes. Okay, I'd like to offer resolution number 164-14. The resolution is to acknowledge the service of Timothy N. DeLorme. I offer the resolution. You want to go ahead and read it now? Okay. Presented to Timothy N. DeLorme, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Glenridge desire to convey to you an expression of its commendation and grateful acknowledgement for the valued services rendered by you in the public interest as a member of the Shade Tree Commission. The Mayor and Council sincerely appreciate the worthwhile contribution that you have made to the welfare and the development of this fine community. Mr. Mayor, there's the resolution.
I second the resolution.
Jeff? Please call the roll.
Councilperson Patrick? Aye. Rusovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Theodora?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The resolution is approved.
And next is Councilman Lefkowitz.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have resolution number 165-14, similarly to give our expression of our appreciation to Glen Trundley for his work with the Historic Preservation Commission. Mr. Trundley, I don't believe is here this evening, but I'd like to offer the resolution of commendation.
Thank you. Please read it.
Well, to Glen Trundley, the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Glenridge, desire to convey to you an expression of our commendation and grateful acknowledgement for the valued valued services rendered by you in the public interest as a member of the Historic Preservation Commission. We sincerely appreciate the worthwhile contribution that you've made toward the welfare and development of this fine community.
Thank you, David. Can I get a second, please? Second. Thank you, Paul. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Pasovich?
Aye.
Leftwitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Theodoro?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Resolution is approved.
Great. There is no further business to come before this council. I entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting, sine die.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the meeting be adjourned, sine die.
Can I get a second, Paul? I'll second. Okay, I declare this meeting adjourned and announce the Borough Council will reconvene immediately for a fall and swearing-in ceremony. Coming back.
Very good, Jeff. This is the one you got it.
Out to lunch.
And when you would,
Thanks, buddy. Yep.
That's resolution 12.
yeah?
Okay. At this time, will Daniel Murphy please present himself for the purpose of subscribing to the oath of office? I state your name.
I, Dan Murphy,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
That I will serve and support the Constitution of the United
that I will
States
support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
Bear true faith. Bear true
I'll bear
faith
true faith
and allegiance to
and
the same
allegiance to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and this state
by the authority of the people.
by the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I state your name.
I, Dan Murphy,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of councilperson
perform all the duties of councilperson
for the Borough of Glen Ridge,
to the Borough of Glen Ridge,
County of Essex,
and County of Essex,
State of New Jersey,
State of New Jersey,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. At this time, will Arthur Dawson please present himself for the purpose of subscribing to the oath of office? Left hand up, right hand up. I state your name.
I, Arthur Dawson,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
To support the Constitution of the United States.
to support the Constitution of the United States
The Constitution of the State of New Jersey.
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
Bear true faith
and to bear true faith
and allegiance to the same.
and allegiance to the same,
And to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United
and
States
in this state
in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people,
So help me God.
so help me God.
I state your name.
I, Arthur Dawson,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
I will faithfully,
I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties of councilperson
perform all the duties of councilperson
for the Borough of Glen Ridge,
for the Borough of Glen Ridge,
County of Essex,
in the County of Essex,
State of New Jersey,
State of New Jersey,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Would everyone please rise again and join me in the pledge of allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
state for the record that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public by posting and maintaining the annual notice of the regular meetings for the year 2015 in the administration building and by providing said notice in the Glen paper, the Montclair Times, and the Star Ledger on Monday, January 5th, 2015. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick? Here. Sovich?
Here.
Lefkowitz?
Here.
Dawson?
Here.
Murphy?
Here.
Morrow?
Here.
Mayor Busey present. Mr. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Okay. Councilman Murphy.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. I nominate Councilperson David Lefkowitz to serve as Council President of the Borough Council for the year 2015.
Can I get a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Anne Marie. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, David.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, I move resolution number 1-15 to adopt the bylaws for 2015.
Okay. Art, can I get a second?
Yes, I'll second that.
Okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick? Aye. Sovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The resolution is approved.
Okay, and I hereby appoint the following standing committees of the Borough Council for the year 2015. The first person named on each committee will serve as that committee's chairperson. Finance and Administration, Chair Stuart Patrick, Councilpersons Lefkowitz and Morrow. Public Safety Committee, Chair Paula Sovich, with Councilman Patrick and Dawson. Community Affairs and Public Relations, Councilman Lefkowitz will chair with Murphy and Patrick. Public Works and Public Utilities, Councilman Dawson, chair with Morrow and Lesovich. Parks and Rec Committee, Councilman Murphy will chair with Dawson and Lesovich. And the Planning and Development Committee will be chaired by Councilwoman Morrow with Murphy and Lefkowitz. With the advice and consent of the Borough Council, I'm pleased to appoint Minor Landis to the position of Borough Attorney for the term of 1 year.
Mr. Mayor, I have Resolution 2-15, in which we resolve to approve and confirm the appointment of the firm Minor and Landis as the Borough Attorney for the year 2015.
Thank you, David.
Second.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick? Aye. Sovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The resolution is approved.
With the advice and consent of the Borough Council, I am pleased to appoint Mark A. Clement to the position of Municipal Court Judge for a term of 3 years.
Mr. Mayor, it's with great pleasure I move to approve resolution number 3-15, approving and confirming Judge Clement as our municipal judge.
Thank you, Paul.
I enthusiastically second that.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick? Aye. Sovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The resolution is approved.
With the advice and consent of the Borough Council, I am pleased to appoint Elizabeth A. Brewster to the position of Municipal Court Prosecutor for the term of 1 year.
Mayor, I have resolution number 4-15, which is a resolution to approve and confirm the mayor's appointment of Ms. Brewster as the community prosecutor.
Thank you, Stuart.
Second.
Anne Marie, thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Sovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The resolution is approved.
With the advice and consent of the Borough Council, I am pleased to appoint Delia J. Murphy to the position of Municipal Court Public Defender for the term of 1 year.
And Mr. Mayor, I have Resolution 5-15. Be it resolved that your appointment of Delia Murphy to serve as the borough's public defender for the year 2015 is hereby approved and confirmed.
Thank you, Dennis.
Second motion.
Thank you, Paul. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Sovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. The resolution is approved.
With the advice and consent of the Borough Council, I appoint the following as officers and employees of the Borough for the year 2015. Sheila Byron Lagatuda, Chief of Police and Director of Public Safety. Irene C. Wheat, Certified Financial Officer, Donna Schuler, Certified Municipal Tax Collector, and Denise C. Iandolo, Acting Municipal Court Administrator.
Mr. Mayor, I move resolution number 6-15 to approve and confirm the mayor's appointments.
And I second that resolution.
Thank you, David. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Pasovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the resolution is approved.
With the advice and consent of the Borough Council, I appoint the following to serve as members of the various boards, commissions, and committees. There's a long list, I think we published online.
Right, Mr. Mayor, I would move resolution number 7-15, approving your and confirming your appointments, which can be found on the website.
Thank you, Paul.
I'll second that resolution.
Arthur, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Pasovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the resolution is approved.
Arthur.
Yeah, I'd like to offer resolution number 8-15 with a schedule for the mayor and council meetings for the calendar year 2015. That is also on the website.
Mr. Mayor, I second the resolution 8-15.
Thank you, Dan. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Pasovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
And Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the resolution is approved.
Great. Councilman Morrow.
Oh,
You're up.
sorry. Mr. Mayor, I offer resolution number 9-15, authorizing the official municipal holidays for 2015.
Very good, thank
Do
you.
I don't need to read them.
They're on the website.
Can I get a second?
Oh, I'm sorry, second.
Okay, thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Pasovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the resolution is approved.
Mr. Mayor, I have resolution number 10-15, which adopts the 2015 temporary budgets, administrative work, and pool. I move the resolution be passed.
Thank you. Can I get a second, Dave?
Yes, I second that.
Thank you very much. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Pasovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the resolution is approved.
I have resolution number 11-15 for the approval of the claims for current month. I move the resolution.
Thank you very much.
I'll second.
Thank you, Paul. These are the bills, Stuart, for the,
They are the normal bills that we present each month.
okay, will the clerk please call the roll?
Councilperson Patrick?
Aye.
Pasovich?
Aye.
Lefkowitz?
Aye.
Dawson?
Aye.
Murphy?
Aye.
Morrow?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, the resolution is approved.
Councilman Dawson, resolution number 12.
Yes, I have resolution number 12-15. It addresses the fact that Jeffrey J. Theodoro has served as a member of the Borough Council of Glen Ridge with much pride and distinction for more than 3 years. And whereas Councilman Theodoro has contributed much to this council's work by chairing and serving on many of its committees, including the Parks and Recreation Committee, the Finance and Administration Committee, the Community Affairs and Public Relations Committee, and the Public Works Utilities Committee. And whereas Councilman Theodoro has also served as this council's president during the year 2014. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Glen Ridge does hereby honor, commend, and thank Jeff for his many years of service to Glen Ridge, and does hereby extend their best wishes to him in the future.
Mr. Mayor, I enthusiastically second that motion, resolution.
I would third it. Possible.
It's good easy.
If I may say, it's been a pleasure working with you, Jeff. You've been such an addition to the council. The borough will miss your intellect, your integrity, your enthusiasm, and your compassion, and your willingness always to put the borough ahead of any self-interest. Can you say it's been a pleasure?
Hear, hear.
Patrick. It's the roll call.
For Jeff.
Aye.
Okay. Vasovich,
Aye.
Lefkowitz,
Aye.
Dawson,
Aye.
Murphy.
Aye.
Morrow,
Aye.
Mayor Hughes.
Aye.
No nays, the resolution is approved.
Okay, I have my annual address to the citizens. I hope you bear with me. It's somewhat long. But we had an awful lot that we did in 2014. We have a lot that we will do in 2015. So I would like to welcome everyone to this, the 120th reorganization meeting of the Borough of Glen Ridge. Tonight, we swore in two council persons, Councilman Art Dawson and Councilman Dan Murphy, and we appointed the many volunteers who so ably staff our various boards and committees. We also recognize those volunteers who have completed their service to the borough, and I will take a few minutes to review some of the highlights of 2014 and to present our goals for 2015. Let me start first by extending an official welcome back to the council to Art Dawson and to Dan Murphy. Art is beginning his fourth term on the council and will once again chair the Public Works Committee. Dan will lead the Parks and Rec Committee and will serve on Planning and Development with Councilwoman Morrow and on Community Affairs and Public Relations with Councilman Lefkowitz. I would also like to recognize Councilwoman Anne Marie Morrow, who was sworn in just 4 weeks ago. She was elected to a one-year term and will chair our Planning and Development Committee and will serve on our Finance Administration and Public Works Committees. I'm delighted that all of you are willing to serve on the council. I can't thank you and your families enough for the service you give to the borough. You have all proved yourself to be excellent stewards of your community, and you all willingly give of your time, energy, and personal talents to maintain and promote the high quality of life and standards of good government that we have all come to expect here in Glen Ridge. At this time, I would also like to recognize the Honorable Mark Clement, who I am appointing tonight as our judge for a 3-year term. Mark replaced Judge Joe Conley last year on an interim basis and has simply done a terrific job at the court. Everyone I have spoken with who has come into contact with Mark feels that his temperament in the courtroom is just what it should be, and that all parties that have come before our judge feel that they have been treated fairly and evenly in his courtroom. I appreciate the fact that the court has run very smoothly this past year, despite an almost twofold increase in the number of cases coming before Mark's court. Tonight I want to recognize also 2 of our employees for their long-standing service to the borough. Our court administrator and deputy clerk Steve Berry will start his 43rd year with the borough this Thursday. And our chief financial officer, Irene Wheat, recently celebrated her 25th anniversary with the borough. My personal thanks to both Steve and Irene for their hard work and their dedication to Glen Ridge. Tonight I would also like to recognize Dr. Michael Molinari, who will serve on our Board of Health, and Robin Fields, who I am appointing to the Planning Board. This town only functions if qualified residents step up and volunteer to serve on our various boards and agencies. And I thank Michael and Robin for answering the call to service. Every organization depends on the quality of its members to be successful. One of the hallmarks of this town is the high quality of the persons who agree to serve in elected office and on the many volunteer boards and committees that run our community. Tonight, I would like to recognize and thank 2 such highly successful persons who led very important parts of our borough organization. Jeff Theodoro served 4 years on this council. During that time, he chaired our Parks and Rec Committee, which is far from an easy assignment. This committee has to manage so many moving parts, and it takes a highly organized and determined leader to keep all of the various parts moving in harmony with one another. Under Jeff's leadership, all of the elements within his responsibility improved. Membership at our tennis courts has grown annually, and operating costs have come down. The Glen Ridge Community Pool continues to draw big numbers and provide a wonderful experience to its membership at no cost to the borough. Under Jeff's guidance, the pool refinanced its debt and has begun building a new office, bathroom, and concession complex to better serve its members. All of our fields are in better condition due to Jeff's almost daily involvement in their care and operation. Under Jeff's leadership and in partnership with Essex County and the Township of Montclair, George Washington Field is being rebuilt as an all-weather field and will be striped for soccer, field hockey, lacrosse, and baseball, and will have additional ticks for lining the field for football. This new synthetic field is part of a larger plan to reduce the amount of playing time on our other grass fields so that they can stay in good condition longer and hopefully with less maintenance costs. Jeff has skillfully managed our permits from the county, and we have enjoyed remarkable access to county fields at Watsessing, Glen Field, and Brookdale Parks. Without such access, we would have an almost impossible task of scheduling the many sports activities that we have in this borough. Jeff is so much more than just a pretty face. He has the ability to see to the heart of an issue quickly. He has an extremely quick and analytical mind. He is passionate. He's greedy. He is eloquent. He is generous. And he has been a most valuable member of the council. Jeff, I thank you for your service. I wish you and Nancy a healthy and happy new year and continued success in the future. Tim DeLorme served on this council from 1997 to 1999. More importantly, Tim has had a very successful career as a landscape architect. So he was the first person I contacted to lead the preliminary task force that studied the need for a shade tree commission in town. And he was an obvious choice to chair that commission once it was established by our borough ordinance in 2010. Under Tim's guidance, the Shade Tree Commission has completed a borough-wide inventory of all our shade trees and has created a master plan that will guide us as we move forward with a comprehensive plan to replant over 1,000 trees in the borough. Tim's expertise and his willingness to think big have had a lasting legacy, will leave a lasting legacy to this borough as we take control of this important asset and manage it in a thoughtful, careful, and proactive way. Tim, I thank you for your service to the borough, and I wish you and Betsy all the best as you move to your new home in New York State. Thank you, Tim. We had another significant departure from our senior staff last year when our police captain, Robert Wagamuth, retired after 30 years of service on the force. Having joined the department in 1984, Captain Wagamuth was promoted to sergeant in 2001, lieutenant in 2009, and captain in 2011. During his career, he received over 25 awards and commendations for meritorious service and life-saving. I've known Bob for over 20 years. We first met when we played together on a men's softball team, the dreaded Yankees. He's a local guy who lives and works and raises his kids and family in Glen Ridge. His parents still live here. He's a cop's cop, a consummate professional who epitomizes what local policing is all about. We are very proud of Captain Wagamuth and equally proud of our entire police force that works hard every day and night to keep us safe. Bob, you will be sorely missed by all of us. I would also like to thank Mr. Glen Trunley, who is leading our Historic Preservation Committee this year, and I would like to thank Dr. Sujana Sandra Sekar for her years of service on the Board of Health. As we take a look back to some of the highlights of 2014, turf undoubtedly gets a big headline. We have long recognized that Glen Ridge does not have the fields needed to support demand, and the council and I believe we were not getting enough value for the dollars we spend to maintain our fields. For these reasons, we recommended the installation of an artificial surface at Harrell. However, the majority of voters in town didn't want Harrell to be a synthetic field. In each of the last 2 years, a turf referendum has lost at the ballot box, and by almost the same margin, despite our having adopted the recommendation last year from our advisory committee that we eliminate crumb rubber as an infill material. After the question failed in 2013, I impaneled an advisory committee comprised of residents who were both for and against the issue to review all of the data and to make recommendations on a way forward. We then published the committee's report and held a public hearing on the matter that we then put the question to a vote last November. The process that we used was inclusive and out in the open. And by holding a referendum, we involved the public in the decision-making process. The result, I think, is that while voters did not endorse the installation of an artificial turf surface at Borough, the voters retained their confidence in this elected body, and that is an outcome I can live with. For me, the issue is over. We are moving forward with a new synthetic field at George Washington, which will take some of the load off our grass fields at Harrell, Forest, and Carteret. We will continue to count on our Jim Cowan to manage the fields as wisely as possible, and we will spend what is needed to keep the fields in playable condition. I would like to thank all of the members of the Turf Advisory Committee who worked so hard on this issue last year. In particular, I would like to thank the two committee chairpersons, Joe Allworn and Sujana Sandra Sekar, for their leadership and commitment to an open and transparent process that conducted a complete review of all the relevant and available facts, data, and options. While turf took all of the headlines, 2014 was a year when we saw our budget finally get back to something that is reasonable and workable. Since 2010, this council has had to deal with a significant shortfall in all our revenues. Tax receipts were impacted due to a lower housing values and a dramatic increase in the number of tax appeals. Fees from all permit applications were lowered due to a general slowdown in activity from the recession. Across the board, state aid was cut, and we had to lay out hundreds of thousands of dollars for storm damage and other weather-related expenses. In the 5 years from 2010 to 2014, we saw general revenues increase by a whopping $81,000, and that's on a $12 million budget. This forced us to cut expenses and make some very painful decisions on staffing, while we strive to maintain the same high level of service that our residents expect from us. To highlight just how bad things were, in 2010, our capital reserve account was reduced to under $50,000. I'm very happy to report that in 2014, our budget is finally fully mended, and we have been able to restore staff levels where they were before the recession. A borough-wide reassessment in 2013, coupled with the recovery in housing values, has led to a sharp reduction in the number of tax appeals. Permit fees have recovered as more work is being done throughout the borough. And we finally have received long-delayed storm-related reimbursements from the state and FEMA. All of these developments have led to a much improved budget. Today, our capital reserve account, which was $50,000 in 2010, is now north of $1 million, which is a necessary amount to protect us from unexpected expenses like a severe storm or an economic downturn. I'm excited to report that we're moving forward again on a number of fronts that will maintain a state of good repair in our infrastructure and will improve the level of service that we provide for our residents. In 2014, we purchased new radios for the ambulance squad, the Department of Public Works, and the police department. And these will link all three groups and improve communications between all of them while maintaining operational security for our police department. Last year, we began phase 1 of a major sewer relining project along Ridgewood Avenue at a cost of some $600,000. That system is almost 100 years old and has to be maintained to avoid excessive breakdowns and repairs. It is a necessary expense, but one that will pay dividends and lower maintenance costs for years to come. We installed new playground equipment at Clay Field last year at a cost of $95,000. Our insurance company had put us on notice that the equipment there had to be upgraded to meet current safety requirements. New fencing to replace what's there is on order and will have the same look as the fencing around Burrell Field. We paved the Public Works yard in 2014. The fencing there was replaced and a new remote gate into the yard was installed. We also purchased a new multi-use truck that comes with various attachments, as well as a new jitney, a new chipper, and a new Sand Pro, which is used to groom our various baseball infields. Our Public Works Department, headed so ably by our Mike Zucchelli and Bill Bartlett, does an excellent job day in and day out. And Glen Ridge is the gold standard when it comes to keeping our streets open and ice-free during the winter. We are adding to our ability to keep our roads clear in the winter, having purchased a new brine storage and delivery system. This system will improve our ability to keep our roads ice-free at lower cost because we can apply the brine solution in advance of a storm during daylight hours without using overtime. It also allows us to reduce the amount of rock salt, which has a much more adverse impact on the environment and which was in very short supply last year. Just this afternoon, Department of Public Works sprayed brine in town for the first time in advance of the predicted snowfall tonight or tomorrow, and I'm looking forward to getting a report on how well it works. In 2014, we started renovations at the Glen Ridge train station. Phase 1 is complete and involved replacement of the floors in the building. In 2015, we will undertake Phase 2, which involves repainting the interior of the station and replacement of much of the furniture. And we will do some repairs and painting to the outside of this building. This work is long overdue, and I'm glad that we're now able to bring this very important community center into a condition that we can all be proud of. In 2014, we awarded a contract to rebuild the pool house at the Glen Ridge Community Pool. This project will be funded completely by membership fees and involves the construction of 3 new buildings on the site. Gone will be the temporary trailers that house locker, bathroom, and staff facilities. We will soon have permanent and attractive buildings that are worthy of our community and reflect the success of the pool. Work has already begun and the foundations have been poured. This will enable the contractor to work through this winter and meet his contract completion date of May 1. We started work in 2014 on George Washington Field. This $900,000 project involved the installation of a new all-weather synthetic field, which will greatly increase the utility of this field. The project is funded 1/3 by Glen Ridge, 1/3 by the Township of Montclair, and 1/3 by the County of Essex. And I would like to personally thank the County Administrator, Joe DiVincenzo, and the Mayor of Montclair, Robert Jackson, for their participation and support in this project. Glen Ridge manages this project, and upon completion, this field will greatly enhance the ability of both Glen Ridge and Montclair to support the needs of their student athletes. Let me say it again. We are extremely grateful for the ongoing attention and cooperation we have received from the County Administrator under Joe DiVincenzo. The rebuilding of George Washington Field and our use of the county fields at Watsessing, Glenfield, and Brookdale Parks is the direct result of the county recognizing and addressing Glen Ridge's needs. As we look forward into 2015, we will also see work being done inside and outside of this municipal building. Planned work includes the reconstruction of retaining walls in front of the library, repair of the stairs on the side of the library, new fencing in the back of the building, and renovations of 4 bathrooms inside this building. We are also upgrading our website in 2015, and I am pleased to report that as of today, our website has been expanded to add more content and more resources, and is in a format that's easier to use on mobile devices. The new website features an interactive service request center, which allows residents to ask questions or request service from any Glen Ridge department, online, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Borough employees will use the Service Request Center to provide email updates until each issue is resolved. Additionally, the Borough has expanded its presence on social media. Residents can stay connected via Facebook and Twitter and are now able to view the most recent council meetings on Glen Ridge's own YouTube channel. I hope that all of our residents will take a look at the new website and will check us out on YouTube. The picture and sound quality are really excellent.
As well to content.
The Glen Ridge Public Library has been revitalized by the energy, leadership, and creativity of our library director, Jennifer Brewer. Simply put, she's doing an excellent job. So much has happened there that I can't make a complete list, but in 2014, hours were expanded to offer a third evening, so the library is now open until 8 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. The local history and archive room was renovated, and a new archival safe was installed, and additional workspaces were added for the public. In 2015, the library will develop an e-branch, which will allow residents to use the library remotely 24/7. New digital services from lynda.com, online learning have been added, as have more digital magazines from Zinio. Streaming media in movies, TV shows, music, and audiobooks from Hoopla, which Jen tells me is like Netflix for libraries, is coming this spring as our online professional, college, and school test preparation offerings from Learning Express Library. I would like to take a minute now to acknowledge the many changes that have occurred in our police department in the past several years, and to recognize the contribution of our Public Safety Committee, of our Police Commissioner, Paul Lesowich, and specifically to recognize and acknowledge the outstanding leadership that our Chief, Sheila Byron Lagatuda, has provided to the department. Our police department is transitioning under Chief Byron. With the retirement of Captain Waterloo, the Chief, along with the Public Safety Committee, has had to identify and develop new talent to manage the department. In 2014, Sean Quinn was promoted to lieutenant to replace Captain Waterloo, and Patrolman Daniel Manley was promoted to sergeant to replace Sergeant Quinn. In addition, the Public Safety Committee has authorized a 6th sergeant, which is a new position, in order to allow the 6 sergeants to rotate through the various departments, patrol, detective, and administration, in order to gain the experience they will require to eventually become the future leaders of our Glen Ridge Police Department. We are fortunate to have such a capable leader as we have Captain Byron Lagatuda. She works extremely hard and is on call 24 hours a day. She is a source of strength in times of crisis and provides the foresight necessary to guide the department into the future. In recognition of the outstanding job which she has done in managing our police force, I'm promoting her to the Director of Public Safety in the Borough. Just a couple more topics. First, I would like to mention the proposed development of the School of Nursing building at Mountainside Hospital. If the project goes through, the plan is to construct a new medical arts building to support a larger medical staff at the hospital. Certainly a strong and viable Mountainside Hospital is a real asset to our community, and we all benefit if there are more doctors and specialists available to meet our community's medical needs. Not so long ago, this hospital was much weaker and at risk of closing down. The fact that under new management, the hospital has been rejuvenated is an important and very positive development. That said, we in the Township of Montclair must be vigilant as the project works its way through the planning and permitting process to ensure that the redevelopment of that property is done in a way that fits into the neighborhood. Second, and in keeping with the spirit of the holiday season, in 2015, with the participation of former Mayor Carl Bergmanson, I am forming a committee to relight our holiday tree on the corners of Ridgewood and Bloomfield Avenue. This tree has heralded the holidays in the borough for many years, but was severely damaged by Hurricane Sandy. The cost estimate to repair the lights is $15,000. I believe we have 2 challenge grants that will match donations made, so I'm confident that we'll be able to relight the tree this year. I'm currently looking for volunteers to help me in that effort. See me afterwards. We have a lot going on in our borough, and I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the essential contribution of our borough administrator, Michael Rowell. Mike makes it all possible. He is so knowledgeable about so many things. He has such a great way of getting things done. I can't say enough about Mike and the outstanding job that he does for the residents of our borough, day in and day out. Thank you. Finally, and I know I don't say it often enough, I want to acknowledge the help and support that I receive each and every day from my wife, Susan. She has been such a positive force in my life and has helped me manage everything that I have on my plate. She shares the same passion that I have for this town and what it represents as a community. I thank her for her encouragement and for her sage advice and for her insight and for her unfailing support. That's it. I thank you all for listening. I wish you all good health, happiness, and success in the new year. Okay, so now I've said my piece, and I will open it up to the public, members of the public. If there's anyone who has something they would like to say, please come up. Councilman Pete,
I get to retaliate, don't I? First, I'd really like to thank you for the state of the borough. We're in great shape, mostly because of your leadership. It's clear why this is such a good place to live. Let me start with 4 years ago when the mayor appointed me on an interim basis to the council. 4 years later and an election later, I can honestly say thank you. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that you did it. I'm glad I took it on. It's been rewarding. It's been challenging. It's been interesting, and it's been fun. And I've truly enjoyed it, and I recommend it to anyone to. To my fellow council people, department heads, chief, John Miliska, chief counsel, I just want to thank you, first of all, for the very kind words, but mostly for your advice, your wisdom, your friendship, and the debate. The town is better for all of you, and I really appreciate the time we spent together. I also need to second what you said about Mr. Rowell and Mr. Kelly. They spent a lot of their day trying to make me look good, and they do it really well. The job couldn't be done without their help. They are so instrumental. Finally, I would like to point out Mr. Cowan and his efforts. Everything you said about me tonight, Mr. Mayor, just change the name to Jim Cowan, because he does the work. He does it every day, and he does it really well, and the town is much better for it. And I'll steal a page from your book and point out my wife. The support, the patience, it's so much appreciated. Never once did she come to this microphone and complain about me. To all of you, good luck. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. After 24 years, Betsy? Something like that. In town, it's not without a bit of melancholy that we move on to Fishkill, New York. But it's been 24 incredible years. I can't imagine a more wonderful town with more wonderful, dedicated, passionate people making it work. You know, this is an incredible experience to come to a public meeting. I do a lot of public meetings and testimony and things, and towns are screaming at each other. You know, representatives are being screamed at, the mayor's being screamed at. This is a place that somehow finds a way to work together to make this a better community. and it has been that for us. I want to thank you for appointing me to the Shade Tree Commission, but really the honor should go to you all, because without your leadership and your insight in recognizing that Glen Ridge is more than great schools and a great commute and a great country club and great houses, it's about the ambiance of town. And you elected, after we made a rather valiant effort, I think, to raise private funds to plant trees, that we were never going to quite get there. And so a year and a half ago, you all elected to fund 1,000 trees to be planted in this town. Just like the founders of the town back in 1995 planted the first 109 or 5, I can't remember the exact number, of pin oaks on Ridgewood Avenue, that everybody who drives through this town that comes to visit us says, God, that is just a great street. And so you've ensured that legacy. So I thank you. I think we've done the yeoman's work, but you had the vision and the guidance as a council to fund us, to support us, and to make this happen. So I want to thank you all for that. And you know, it's volunteers like you and me and others in town that make this thing all come together. So we'll be coming back to keep track, and I'm glad you're on Facebook and YouTube and all of that. So keep it light, keep it fun, and keep it going forward.
Thank you, Tim. Anyone else? If there's no further business or remarks to come before this meeting, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. I will so move. Okay.
Second that motion.
I can second. Thank you.